Okay, Benny, I want to preface my remarks by saying how much I appreciate your open-mindedness and willingness to try all of this stuff. And I really think that I've got something now that's going to help us in a long-term application as I'm breaking things down to movement. And I've got you up next to Walker, and I can't draw as I'm going two screens, but here's what I really want to get you to work on is the idea of stepping forward, right? Getting forward and getting into the ground with nothing happening. As you watch Walker here, you can see how he just reaches with his foot and gets into the ground. Reaches with his front foot and gets into the ground. And as he's doing that, you can even see he gets a slight load with his hands. I'm not even worrying about up top right now, okay? But you can see how he reaches and gets into the ground. That's what I think that's what is going to help you fix your lower half if we get you in a position to start, whether you're starting wide or whether you're starting narrow, but get you reaching with that front foot and getting into the ground. Because as you start wide here, in reality, that's your stride. Right there. See that motion with your foot? That's really your stride. And you can see the difference immediately between you and Walker as he just reaches and gets into the ground. And you've got everything starting to come forward there. Which again, there are pitches that you can hit, but there's a lot, especially in that we're vulnerable to. And as we look at the different posture, right? I can't draw with a split screen, but you can see all the weight that's already committed forward, whereas Walker hasn't committed anything forward. And as Walker's heel hits, now we can see, watch his hips, he engages his lower half, and that back elbow drops, right? So he engages his hips, and as that back elbow drop. The other thing that, again, looking long term, as he hits there, we can see how he's got the bat at the ultimate, 45-degree angle. As you're getting back behind your head there, that's a pretty tough spot to pull the bat out of effectively, and I think that's a part of why we have a vulnerability in. But the big reason we have a vulnerability in is that in our stride, we're really in that position there. Versus Walker, who's there, then as his heel hits, see how he's able to engage? And as your heel is hitting there, you can see how much you've already come forward, whereas Walker has everything back. And our end result is as our hip slides more than turns, how we come, even on a pitch that's not up, we're coming up a little bit through extension. And you can see the longer path as you follow your batting gloves, the longer path that you have to the ball, versus Walker, who just reaches with his front foot. Then as his heel strikes, back elbow drops, hands don't move, and he engages his lower half. He gets that stretch there. Whereas you've already started to come in. Okay, you can see our weight's forward and we've started to dive in. And now, as we were talking about hands, you can see, watching his white batting gloves, how efficient of a movement that is to get to the ball versus how much longer the flight path of your hands is compared to that. So, and you can see he's able to stay down through extension. As we talked about, watching your head relative to the posters behind, you can see how we're slightly coming up through extension. So what do we want to work on? And I've worked all of this out, how we're going to work on stride and get into the ground. Stride and get into the ground. So we take that movement out, that movement out, that movement out. This is what we want. We've got 5 weeks left this summer. That's the movement that we want to take out.